From the car dealership known as the DJC Collectibles Studio, I'm Midwest professional wrestling legend Gage Octane. And now, here's a guy who's owned over 20 Jeeps in his life and is not done yet, Kyle Peterson.
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for episode number 30 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And as usual, I got my ready for Halloween co-host, Angie. Angie, say hello.
Hello.
Free hugs to everybody over there. I don't know if anybody heard that hello. I was about as...
Hello.
I was going to say, I could barely hear it, so I'm sure the microphone couldn't pick that one up. But Angie is here, and we're here for episode number 30 of the Kyle Peterson Show, and Chucky's here too.
I added a little friend.
You got Chucky on your shirt, Chucky in your heart, and Chucky on the table. There it is. But here we are, dangerously close to Halloween. Next week, Angie, will be the Halloween episode, so we got to be ready for that. You all ready for that? Are you ready, you think?
God, I hope so.
I hope so. I don't know.
Drop a couple LBs to get my outfit.
No, I don't know if I'm ready or not. We'll see. We'll see. I got mine. I haven't even opened it yet, so we'll see how it goes. I guess stay tuned next week for episode 31, conveniently enough, the Halloween episode. Of course, Halloween. October 31st, I believe everywhere. I don't know where it wouldn't be, but we will have that episode next week. So stay tuned for some Halloween shenanigans, stories, you name it, in our Halloween special next week on the show. But before we get there, we got episode 30 of the Kyle Peterson Show. And Angie, we got to get some housekeeping out of the way. As usual, the sponsor of the Kyle Peterson Show, DJC Collectibles, use discount code 8OFFDJC to save 8% off your entire order. Got to get a deal, and got to thank DJC for sponsoring the podcast. But Angie, we got some housekeeping to do before we get into the stories, and we got some great stories for you to tell us here about the week that was. But everybody remember last week's podcast? It was too hot for advertisers, too hot for YouTube. We didn't know that was going on at the time until after we uploaded the video. But monetization, obviously YouTube, if you're monetized, it'll give you like a strike. It says this video can't be monetized. And that was the fate of our podcast last week. I said, what? What the heck are they talking about? Because for the most part, we keep it pretty clean. There's no cussing. There's no swearing. There's none of that stuff. So I'm like, what the heck's going on? And I guess it came down to Angie's outfit. Any thoughts, Angie?
The story of my life. I'm too hot to handle.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. That's for sure. But it was a wild thing. I'm like, are you kidding me? Now, I get it. And we didn't think this at the time. Angie, it was like a fishnet type shirt or something like that. I don't know what the actual call is. That what it's called?
It's like a lace.
It's like a lace.
I had like a nude thing underneath, but I did look kind of naked underneath.
At first glance, it looked like she was, but no, she had a shirt on underneath everything. So it was like there was nothing going on. And I did say to YouTube, because you can fight it and say, no, this is wrong, because I think their AI bots do all that stuff. And they probably thought, you know, if you were freeing the nipple or something. I don't know what they thought was going on.
My nipple would have went right through the shirt.
Right through. But they, said you can't monetize this video, all this stuff, not suitable for advertisers, all this kind of stuff. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So I ended up fighting. I said, well, they need to review this. And it took like 4 days, but it came back. I think they got a human saying, oh, wait a minute, this is nothing. And that's what it was. But it was quite the episode, Angie. You know, it was our most watched video in quite some time, which is funny to do as well. And it was also our most thumbs down video outside of the first episode.
I think they were just mad. The internet tried to take it off.
That's what it probably was. They didn't know that at the time, but it was our most outside of the first episode, which is always going to have the most viewers and stuff, but it was the most thumbs up and the most thumbs down. So a polarizing episode if there ever was one, but it's just wild. And some of the feedback online is always funny. There's people that reach out to me every once in a while. Now we'll talk about this more here, but I just don't have time to dive into a lot of this stuff. And like people, I guess, are all over this Reddit. I know Angie doesn't even know what a Reddit is. Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, she does. I don't really know what it is. So could you explain exactly what Reddit is for everybody here? No.
Well, it's just like a place people go to like complain about stuff. And
okay.
It's like a forum.
It's like a forum. That's about as what I know exactly there. So that's about all I know what's going on with Reddit.
It's no good.
It's weird.
I stay out of there.
But somebody sent me a thing saying somebody was complaining that Kyle has changed his YouTube channel and it's his wife's in every single video now. Somebody was saying that. And then the guy said it, and then he sent me like somebody else responded to it like, I forget. He said Kyle does like 15 videos a week, and Angie's only in 2 of them, which is the podcast, which isn't a review video, and the weekly purchases you come in for the mail service. So she's in 2 videos a week. But we actually do 28 videos a week on the YouTube channel. They do 28 videos every single week. Angie's here for the podcast. That's it. She answers the mail call, and occasionally you'll see her in the background of a toy hunter too. But it's so funny that it's funny how people take it to the next level. But we're going to take it to another level after that. Somebody else sent me something this week. I guess there was a Reddit forum. I don't know any of this stuff. I don't understand. I've heard of Reddit. I don't get it. But apparently there was a thread somewhere that I have a very pro-MAGA channel, that I'm very hard politics and pushing politics in the middle of my action figure reviews.
Oh, God.
Like, what are they talking about? Like, it's so wild, and I'm just a blip on the world's radar. I mean, that might be generous at this point. But you can imagine how the Brad Pitts of the world have stuff made up about them all the time, and they're not going to defend these things. They don't see this. And just like me, not seeing this Reddit thing, but it's wild that people out there actually believe that I'm like promoting political agendas, and like I'm about as non-political as anybody can be. Like, it's the last thing I have time for to even look into and stuff, and I probably should pay more attention to that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'm more about the action figures, my day job, my family, my dogs, and I don't have any time left. I don't have any time after all that. There's only so many hours in the week, but I found that funny that somebody said that. It's like, I'm pro-MAGA and I'm pushing an agenda on all my reviews. Like, I can't even think of anything I talked about. I
the
could
tariffs.
I could see if they said, this Kyle, he's very anti-Duke, and that is true. I am very anti-Duke. Maybe they could say something like that. Make some truth in there, that Kyle doesn't think Duke's the real leader of G.I. Joe. He's given thousands of reasons over the last couple of years why he isn't, and people fight back with Kyle a lot, saying, no, Duke is the leader. But nobody has ever given me a reason why he's a real leader. When you define what a true leader is, nobody has ever came to the table and said, here's the reason Duke is the leader. So once again,
no proof.
Duke's no proof. So just absolutely wild right there. I don't know. And even somebody called us a mid couple. And I said, man, the kids out there.
That's exactly what we are.
I'm not mid. What's mid? What is that? That means like you're a loser?
That means on a scale of 1 to 10, you're like, you fall in the middle. So you're not like...
No. I'm a solid 8. A solid 8 all day long. You're at least a 6 every single day. At least a 6.
Personality is 6.
Personality a 2. No, but I found that to be pretty funny. But it's
we
just
don't
wild.
care. Like, you're...
No.
No.
But it's wild. And people send me all that stuff all the time. We're going to get more into stuff people sent me this week to talk about. And once again, I'm oblivious to a lot of things. But we're going to try to break it down. We're going to talk about it here in a little bit. But I thought that was very strange and very... I don't know what it is. But I don't know. There's obviously some people that really believe things. And there's some people that are just trolling. And that's probably most of the time there. I mean, there's always jealousy involved. I mean... I've had people come up to me. I had a person come up to me in a store one time, and this person told me that I stole his idea for a YouTube channel and the way I do my format and all this stuff. I literally never met this person in my life. Didn't know this person existed. And they said I should, help them out and do something because I stole all of their ideas. And like, once again, I've never met this person in my life. So you get some strange stuff every single once in a time. Sometimes I get some death threats. People want to kill me. People want to kill me.
I think they wanted to kill us.
Yeah,
they said like the house burned down.
Oh, that was the first. That was the first ever YouTube. So you get some strange stuff. Now,
rude.
Once again, maybe you remember the creepy, weird stuff a little bit more than the positive, but obviously overwhelmingly positive for most things. There's a lot of long timers that watch all the channel, all the episodes, all that kind of stuff. They always positive and stuff, and that's what we try to do. But every once in a while, I do get tickled, Angie. Tickled off of a negative comment.
We're not losing sleep over it.
No, but it was just funny. But man, it was wild this week when they sent me that email saying that, oh yeah, on Reddit, they're talking about how you're pushing the MAGA agenda in your action figure reviews. I was like, boy, I never would have thought I was doing politics on here. But here we are today. I'm pushing the politics, and we're going to get right into it. There was a meeting in Washington.
You're white middle class.
Who knows? Probably. But that's a little bit of the top housekeeping I thought I would mention. Angie, too hot. Not too hot this week, though, Angie. No, there's nothing showing. It's not all the time. It's almost parka season here. And that's the other thing, too. People were all saying that I was forcing you to wear outfits and stuff like that. And that I'm basically pimping you out, basically. So if I think
they don't know me. You can't control me.
So if you guys want to send some money my way, there's a chance we could do it. We could talk funds if we're going to do it. I'm like a young godfather. right here. But yeah, I don't think you guys know the power of Angie, and she's her own woman, and she's going to wear what she wants. And every single time, trust me, I've been as blown away as some others have been as well, just from sitting over here. It's a good thing this table's covered and not all open up right there. So
it does get weird though, because I kind of like set this like precedence, and then now I like feel bad when I'm like
set the bar. People want to see the girls.
Like,
they want to see
away.
the girls. So I don't know what you do.
So I do think about it a little bit.
Well, and you said in episode 100 you're just going to wear some pasties. I think is what you said. That was all you're going to wear. That's all you were going to wear. So
You're definitely not getting paid for that one.
no, that'll be definitely off the radar. But you know, Angie, we have made $25 off this podcast. $25.
That's not even enough to buy one of those shirts.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think, and that's the thing. A lot of people think about like YouTube and stuff. All these guys,
it's so glamorous.
Unless you're Mr. Beast, I don't know if you're paying any bills with these kind of things. It's more for me, as I always say, it's stress relief. It's fun. But the time that we invest just doing this podcast, and how many hours of prep do you do for this podcast?
Well, I did like 5 minutes for this one.
Not even that.
Not even that. I read an article.
But Angie just shows up and just goes. She's all show and go. And I put a few notes down. I'm kind of the same way, but it's wild. Just the
it's
time.
Not glamorous. It's not glamorous.
The time and the editing and everything. I could get a job at the grocery store part-time and get more money out of that. So I don't know. Maybe that's what I do. Think about that. Maybe I could just go stock some shelves part-time at night and get more money.
We're filming this in our dining room, surrounded by cardboard boxes.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All the shipping we get.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is actually a studio. This is a studio apartment.
Professional.
Oh my gosh. Well, Angie, let's get down to some other things here. Where was I? Oh, I don't remember. Now I lost my train of thought.
I don't even know.
Oh, and then there was another guy this week too that took me for task for my AEW video. I thought that was really funny. And he said that I lost all credibility, all this stuff about talking about the video I did about the Jazzwares AEW relationship ending and stuff. And I asked him, I said, and he sent like a copy of me in a message or something. And I said, did you watch the video? Admitted he didn't watch the video. So I'm like, so you're commenting on something you didn't even watch? I said, exactly what you said is what I said. Like, you said you lost all respect for me, but this is what I said, the same thing as you. So strange. I need to get off this
That's like your number one question you ask people is, did you even watch the video?
Yeah. Did you watch the video?
No sense what
I broke it down and I told how everybody was going to jump to conclusions and off of just, once again, Reddit must be a troublesome place over there. But that was the guy that commented, said they're losing the license, all this. And I said, we're going to jump to conclusions. And basically the guy said the same thing I did, but admitted he didn't watch the video. So what are we doing?
That's the dark side of the web. We don't need to be there.
The dark side of the podcast world. So who knows? But Angie, getting on to funner topics here. You know, it was kind of fun to talk about that kind of stuff every once in a while. We got to do our Patreon giveaway this month. It is the month of October. Anybody that signs up for not everybody that signs up. The traditional Patreon giveaway. It's the Sting Supreme figure. That's our traditional YouTube Patreon giveaway. But we have a free giveaway on Patreon this month. Frankenberry, Nosferatu, Ultimate Gremlins. These three figures will go to one person that signs up to the Patreon. You can be a free member or a paid member. Does not matter. I will pick a winner here, and I will do that video, of course, on Patreon, an exclusive Patreon one. But we do got three figures to give away. And once again, you could be a free member. Check out the Patreon. You get early access to all the videos on the channel. You also get early access to this episode of the podcast and all the other episodes of the podcast. A lot of stuff going. The hardest working guy on YouTube, of course. And it's your best way to support the channel at the end of the day. Just talked about YouTube, $20 or something we made off this podcast so far. So you throw $2 a month as a member, and then there's Angie's coffee or a half of her coffee for the day. So
have you ever had Frankenberries?
I've never had any of those cereals. I don't know.
Me either.
We talked about a couple episodes ago where we talked our cereal countdown, and I was never one of those Boo Berry, Frankenberries, any of those kind of things. Count Chocula, I never got into them. I like Monsters and stuff. I just don't like them in my cereal. But there it is. But Angie, now we got to get back to some more housekeeping here. Got all the housekeeping, the front stuff done. We got to talk about what we did last Sunday. Do you remember what we did last Sunday?
Is that when we went to the Evil Dead thing?
There it is. So we went to the Evil Dead in concert. Now, the Evil Dead, obviously a very famous movie starring Bruce Campbell. Of course, everybody knows Bruce Campbell, the star.
I'd never seen it.
Yeah, and you weren't sure if you'd seen it or not, and you definitely did not see it once you got there. So It is from 1981. It's an all-time classic. Still holds up. It's a little bit low-tech, especially by today's standard, but even in 81 a little bit. It's an interesting movie. There's no doubt. Now, it was
low budget for sure.
Low budget, but it did so well. They kind of remade it into Evil Dead 2 with a little bit bigger budget, but it's worth seeing all of them, and maybe Angie will see the rest eventually. But I thought it was a very intriguing thing as one of the big theaters here in town was showing Evil Dead in concert. And they basically had, I don't know if you call it an orchestra. It wasn't like a full orchestra.
Well, it was a condensed orchestra, but yes, it was.
How many members?
8 maybe?
8, 7, 6, something like that. Something. So they had 8
the
people.
violins and a bass and a percussionist and
Viola.
viola.
Don't forget the viola. Always the viola player, always left out when the violin taking all the glory. Taking all the glory in those stringed instruments. But they basically played along to the score and you watch the movie on the big screen. So I've never seen it on big screen, so I thought that was fun to do. It was something to do on a Sunday night. Tickets were pretty expensive. I think like the most expensive ticket was like $75. But my usual game here is I wait to the last minute to get tickets. That's how you win in this life anymore because they always put tickets extremely expensive, hoping people will buy them. And then they start going down. And then the day of the show, they're playing the show anyways. They might as well get people in there. The tickets drop. You go to the SeatGeek, StubHubs, those kind of worlds. You play the whole thing. You go through Ticketmaster. You look. You find the cheapest ticket. So
long game.
The long game. So that's what we did. And especially this one, it's like, it's not the end of the world if you miss this. This isn't like missing Paul McCartney. More on that later. But this isn't the biggest deal right here. So anyways, long story short, last minute got tickets. And I think I spent $35 on 2 tickets for us. And we were in like the 5th row or
for
something.
both tickets?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
$35 is what I ended up paying for both tickets in like the 5th row. So heck of a deal there. So that was nice to do. And then you got to watch the movie. And I honestly was thinking, I probably haven't seen that movie in like 15, 20 years. It's been a heck of a long time. I think the last time I saw it was back when Netflix had the DVDs they mailed to you. I think that was the last time I saw that movie. So it was nice to see it again, kind of with some fresh eyes. One thing, Angie, I won't talk all the time. I'll give you your opinion here in a second. But one thing I thought was funny was when I watched it previous times, I never really laughed at any parts of the movie. But then the audience would laugh at certain things. And like, I never got the humor until I saw them laughing. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is kind of funny. I never really realized that, noticed that. So I don't know if it's just went over my head all those years ago. Maybe I forgot. I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. There was like Bruce Campbell when he was got thrown against a bookshelf. And it wasn't a very big bookshelf. And he was like fighting with that thing for like 5 minutes trying to get out of it. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. And then some of the faces Bruce Campbell, Ash would make in the movie were pretty funny. So thought that was pretty funny. Angie, did you find anything? What are your overall thoughts on the Evil Dead? I believe you said you'd never seen it. You'd never seen any of it. What do you think?
Well, I was relieved because I hate horror movies.
Yep.
So I was relieved that it was very like low budget and like it's kind of not spoofy, but like it was just funny.
Yeah, and you weren't scared.
Like even the parts that were supposed to be scary, like
Yeah.
made you laugh because they were just like so dramatic and their faces like
Yeah.
were so
So
funny.
you weren't scared at any
No.
point in that movie. No, I wasn't either. But, it is creepy. I mean, it's a creepy premise. And I think more of the modern day ones are a little creepier and they set the tone a little bit different. There's been a couple of new Evil Dead movies without Bruce Campbell. And to me, he really is Evil Dead. If you've seen Army of Darkness, all that. You saw the TV series a couple of years back on, I believe that was on Stars. It just feels weird to have Evil Dead without Bruce Campbell. So it just doesn't feel like the same kind of movie. But the old school one definitely holds up. I think, like the second remake a little bit better. I need to go back and watch that. Angie, would you ever watch that one probably?
I guess.
Maybe. And then maybe Army of Darkness after that. We'll see. But I did think it was fun, and I'm glad I went, especially for basically the price of a normal movie. We got a whole show there. So one thing I'll say about that orchestra, they didn't overpower it. Like, if you didn't pay attention to them, it wouldn't even feel like they were even there. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't... I don't know why they did this exactly. Obviously, I do know why. It's about the money. Trying to get money. Evil Dead fans, Halloween. It's a night out. It's something to do. But it didn't feel like it added or took away from the movie at all. Like, you kind of feel like it would have been it's going to be an amazing experience. It's going to be so triumphant. It just felt like it was there. And it wasn't... maybe I'm wrong, Angie, correct me, but it didn't feel like a score it wasn't like the Jaws score, Star Wars score, were memorable and over the top and you're really feeling the emotion of the music. I didn't feel
The best part was when it started. So they did like the 5-minute like intro to the movie where the screen was still black before it started.
The overture or something.
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't think it really added anything to it. It almost felt like a cash grab, but kudos to them. It is the spooky season. It's worth going to. It's a way to get musicians some money. I don't fault that at all. It's hard times out there to be a musician. So it makes sense. And I could see things like this with other movies. And they probably do this with Star Wars. They probably do this with some of the ones that have maybe a more lush score or something. But I never watched Evil Dead. I've never thought in my life, oh, Evil Dead, that's a score I'd love to hear live in person. But long story short, it was a good time. It was a good time. But speaking of good times, Angie, remember the other night? You remember the other night? Oh, no, not that story. We can't tell that story. But we can tell this one here from Tuesday this week. It was another last minute decision. Now, was it episode 1, 2, something of the podcast? We talked about this at length. We had plans. What were we going to do on October 14th? Sir Paul McCartney in town, right down the road from us. Paul McCartney, one of my favorite musicians of all time. Yes, I've seen him 3 times in concert, but why not 4? Why not 4? There was also an ABBA tribute band in town. You know, that crosses over to the kids a little bit more. And myself, I'm an ABBA guy. Angie's an ABBA guy. So there's options. There's options in town here. But what did the kids really want to go to, Angie?
K-pop.
K-pop and what's more
specifically P1 Harmony.
P1 Harmony, Chicago, the United Center, home of Michael Jordan, home of Bobby Hull, one of your favorite Hulls, I think. You thought about that for a long trip. It was like, do I like Bobby or Brett better? Which one do I like? I said personally, I'm an Ed Belfour guy. I'm an Ed Belfour guy, and I'm speaking a foreign language to Angie here.
I just take both at once.
No, take them both. Angie's hardcore. She's gonna take them both. Oh, Brett and Bobby would appreciate that. They're gonna give you the old slap shot to you, I think, right across the face, maybe. But we decided at the last minute.
You decided.
Yes.
I thought we were done for on it. You're a softie.
Yes, I am. I'm a miserable person 99% of the time. No. I'm just I'm angry because I know this K-pop thing's a fad. I know how much money is being spent on this all the time, but I just, at the end of the day, I know how I was as a little kid. And like, man, if I could have went to that wrestling show, or whatever I wanted to go to that I didn't get to go to, I know it ate away at my soul for my whole life. And it's made me into the person I'm here today, where our kids are going to grow up to be like Nicole Richie and Paris Hilton in The Simple Life. They're going to like, what is this? Oh, I got it so easy before. But I thought about it. I was doing the thing I talked about earlier. You're waiting on the tickets, trying to get a deal. Because originally tickets were like $300 a ticket or something absolutely ridiculous for K-pop. Get out of here with that. But I waited and waited, looked at tickets, kept paying attention. Now, I was on vacation this week, but not really. I hadn't ended up working Monday. We had one of my presidents in town, so I had to work Monday. And unfortunately, I have a big deck I have to put together. So I'm going to have to spend one day, maybe this afternoon, maybe tomorrow, but basically doing a deck on my vacation. And I got to present it next week. So and that's weighing on my mind. So I really don't feel like I'm on vacation here. I got so much stuff to do. I'm trying to get my collection back together. There's just no time. No time. I'm a hot mess. I'm just a hot mess. But I said, I know the kids really want to go to this thing. It's in Chicago, 5.5 hours away, United Center. That's always that fiasco going all the way downtown Chicago. But I said, all right, let's do this. And dad of the year here, the kids got to miss 2 days of school as well. I can't imagine if my dad would have said, Kyle, we're missing 2 days of school. I never missed school ever. I was never allowed to miss school. And if I was super sick, I had to sit in my room, in my bed, in complete darkness, no radio, no TV, no CDs, no music, no action figures, no nothing. I'd be in complete silence and quiet. I could only eat crackers and bread. It was like being in prison is what it was like. So if I was just remotely sick, I'm like, I'm just going to tough it out. I'm going to give everybody else the flu. I'm going to give everybody else sickness because I'm not just going to sit in the dark. And I never missed days of school. I missed just a handful in elementary school. I never missed anything in junior high, in high school. I never missed a day of college either. I just always powered through. And same thing with work. I never miss work either.
I'm the same way, though. I never do.
Ugh. So anyways, the kids were lucky enough to miss 2 days of school. Good for them. And they were very surprised that they got to go to P1 Harmony. There wasn't any tears, I don't think.
They were shocked, though.
They were shocked. So then we did it. So on Tuesday, we drove all the way there. Now, thankfully, I travel for work a lot. And I said, I'm going to log into my Hilton Honors app. And thankfully, I had enough points for a free hotel room. So winning right there, got that hotel room for free. A beautiful, Angie, True by Hilton.
I like that hotel.
It's fine. Naperville, Illinois. I've stayed there before. It's fairly new. Shout out to Naperville, Illinois. Not shout out to the Target in Naperville, and maybe I'll tell that story in a toy video.
They didn't have hard water, and they had good shampoo and body wash and all
nice
that
rooms.
stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sleeper hotel, and it's usually the cheaper ones too, which is the weird thing. And I don't know why it's cheaper than like a Hampton or a Hilton Garden Inn. You get breakfast, you get everything. So sleeper one, true, if you can get one of those. So I got a free hotel. So I felt a little bit better about myself with that. It's all about justification, as we always say. But we made the drive there, and Angie was nice enough to drive a lot of it. You know, she gets bored, so it was good. I usually always drive, but I said, Angie, I got so much work to do. I'm going to have to work. So I was working along, and she drove most of the way to Chicago. Drove not as much of the way back. I drove most of the way back, but a little bit. So it's nice to split up the driving duties, is what we did. So we ended up going to P1 Harmony at the United Center, and I was a little shocked once
Those seats are nice in there. They're comfy.
Yeah, I like the United Center. Now, Allstate Arena I've been to many times. That was my first time in the United Center, and I actually preferred the United Center, but Allstate probably cheaper to rent, all that kind of stuff there. But I remember we parked, and I remember the parking guy said, hey, good for you, man, coming here with the girls, because I would say there was like 50 girls to every guy there. And it wasn't, and we all know about Chicago. It's not the safest place in the world, Chicago. It's not. Let's be honest. There's a lot of trouble in Chicago every single day. There's Kyle preaching his agenda again. But the security guy was like, man, good for you taking these girls here. You got to do those kind of things. Good for you. Because I think he took one look at me, and I don't remember what I was wearing. What was I wearing?
Like a metal shirt, probably.
Something like Iron Maiden shirt or something. He's like, yeah, this guy doesn't want to be at K-pop. This guy wants to be at K-pop. And then later on during the show, I said, I'm going to get something to drink. So I went and got like a Pepsi or something. A Pepsi. Oh, give me a Pepsi. And the lady there is like, good for you coming here. You were here with your girls, right? And I said, no, what makes you think that? I came here by myself. And she just looked at me. I'm like, no, I'm joking. Yeah, I got my wife and daughters. She's like, good for you. It's not safe being here with that, on their own. So it's good for you to come. And
it was funny that one guy was like, hey, you want to go get a drink afterwards?
Oh, yeah.
And you were like,
yeah. So when
you were in the same boat.
When we were going through security there was a guy that was like, wanding you or whatever. And I said, man, how did we get so lucky to be here tonight? The guy go, are you as excited as I am? Is P1 your favorite band too? And this guy was probably like 60s. And he just looked at me, and I'm like, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm here with them. I don't know anything about this stuff. And he's like, oh, yeah, me too. He goes, it is what it is. And then later tonight, we're walking by, and what did he say? He goes,
want to get a drink after?
He goes, hey, man, you want to go get a drink later? And I came to, yeah, buddy, I see you. I see you over there. But we had pretty good seats. We weren't in the bottom floor or anything. We were kind of the first mezzanine up, basically straight on. So I thought it was perfect seats. Paid like $99 a ticket all in. So that was a heck of a deal. Saved $200 a ticket. I'll take that all day long.
And all the merch sold out before we could get there.
Oh my gosh. The merch lines were wild for this thing all the way around the corner, and it all sold out before we got there. So that was even better.
I think we were 2 people away from being up there, and they pulled down all the things we wanted. It was devastating.
It was great for my wallet.
But it was good for the wallet, yes.
It was great for my wallet for sure. So we didn't get any of that kind of stuff there, but it was quite the show. Angie, any highlights? I didn't really watch. I watched a little bit. You'll see some of the videos, but I was kind of working on my phone the whole time.
I like it. They're my favorite.
They are your favorite. Yeah. There's something about those
Korean...
I was
up dancing with the kids.
Something about those Korean teenager boys. That
I just love them.
She just loves them. She just goes wild for them. Just everything. Just goes wild.
They're so cute.
I don't know. There was not a band in sight. There was no band. So like, where's all this music coming from? It's coming from the speakers, but there's nobody playing it. They're just singing along. And then there was one portion where a guy played the guitar. No amplifiers, no nothing. And I'm like, is he really playing this? Is he really playing this? But that was my first time at United Center, so I was happy I went. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about that here in this video, but Rush is coming to the United Center next July for 4 shows. We'll talk about that in a bit, but any highlights, anything, Angie, from the...
I don't know. It was cute. It was so good. And the kids had so much fun.
They did, I'm sure.
So much fun.
So that's it for our K-pop agenda. I said next year there's no K-pop. It's a year without K-pop, but we made that trek. And the thing was, it was great memories for them and all that, but it was 2 days out of the office, 2 days out of work. So I'm even farther behind in life. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out.
The thing with K-pop, the Chicago's the closest they'll come.
Yeah, usually. So... hard times in the K-pop world, but you had fun though. You had fun. Well, that's all that matters. You and the girls had fun. I can you did a good dad. Limp through. I can limp through. So there it is, Angie. Now it's time for a deeper dive. All right, it's time for a deeper dive. And this week, we're going into a little bit of a kind of a viewer mail deep dive, a request. I don't know what we would call it, but I actually had 3 people between YouTube comments and messages asking me to talk about a little news article that came through over the last week. And I said, I've heard about it. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I said, maybe I'll try. And that's what we're going to do here as a deeper dive. Now, once again, I am by no means an expert here. And everything we're going to talk about here is allegedly, hasn't went through the court of law. There hasn't been a court case, any of that kind of stuff. So I think you got to say that kind of stuff just to protect yourself legally. I don't know. Is that true?
I don't know. People always say it. So
I don't know. Who's going to watch this? Nobody's going to watch this. Allegedly, we're going to say it. But there's no allegedly. I'm going to read the article right here, Angie, and feel free to chime in along the way in this deeper dive. But it does say, pair arrested in San Diego. Now, beautiful this time of year, San Diego, and I can't imagine anyone ever being arrested in San Diego, but apparently it happens. We got an article about it today.
Isn't the crime like really high there?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, I think I'm thinking of San Francisco.
Yeah, I think so. So it's all those sands. Those sands, you got to watch out for them. Of course, San Diego. Home of Tony Gwynn once upon a time. Benito Santiago as well. Shout out to him. But it does say, pair arrested in San Diego after police seize stolen wrestling action figures worth thousands of dollars. And it does say, Miguel Dominguez, 52, and Brittany Gomez, 36, detained by officers in bust. And you love a good bust, I know. I've seen it. During retail theft investigation. So Wednesday, October 8th. And the article by Harry Cockburn.
You're lying. Oh, okay. That was scary.
It's Harry Cockburn. Right there. This is his name. Shout out to Harry Cockburn. But it does say 2 people in San Diego have been arrested after police investigation led officers to a home packed with stolen merchandise, including shelves lined with WWE action figures worth more than $1,000. On 2nd of October, the San Diego County Sheriff's Department executed a search warrant at a residence on Gold Coast Drive. Oh, one of the beautifulest drives. Anybody familiar with that place? Inside, they detained 36-year-old Brittany Gomez. Hard times for her. 52-year-old Miguel Dominguez. It's kind of like I can imagine old Brittany Gomez just going down like, what is this about? What? Maybe she was in on it. Maybe she was just a guilty party.
Well, they had to have like caught her on camera in the stores.
Yeah, we'll talk. We'll figure that out. But it's kind of like Angie,
detain her for no reason.
Like all of a sudden I go to jail for action figure or something, and Angie's all of a sudden like, "What? Are you kidding me? I got to go down with this ship too, of all things."
The audacity.
The audacity. You couldn't be running a brothel or something. Instead, you go down for action figures. But it does say a sweep of the premises led to the recovery of numerous stolen items from the Target and Walmart, the San Diego County Sheriff's Office said in a statement. Now, funny thing is, whenever I go to San Diego the last couple of years, I always try to hit a Walmart and Target, somewhere along the line, see how the other half lives, see how the other coast is. And I remember a lot of people saying, there's never anything here. There's never anything here. And some people have been saying it was because of these bandits. They were like the wet bandits, but the action figure bandits. Going around. So maybe toy hunting will get a little bit better in San Diego. It's sunny and beautiful this time of year, as we know. It said the haul included toys and other goods investigators say were taken with the intent to resell. I wonder if they were doing that old trick at Walmart and Target. And I've seen this in person. I've seen people busted for this in person. But you buy like a garbage can. You buy a big garbage can, you put the lid on it, and you pull it full of like figures or cleaning supplies, whatever you're trying to steal. You throw it in that garbage can, and then you go through the checkout. You just check out the garbage can, and then you get everything free. I've seen so many people try that in my years of retail when I was a salesman in stores every single day. It's like one of the most common thing, and almost every checker is smart enough to realize, okay, let me look inside
Better check
there.
That bin.
Look inside there, and then try to go through self-checkout or whatever. It's what a shenanigan, but. It continues on here. Photographs released by police show hundreds of toy wrestling figurines removed from their packaging, filling at least 5 large shelves and arranged inside toy wrestling rings. Very specific, this article. Meanwhile, a large number remained inside their original packaging, stacked from floor to ceiling around at least 2 sides of the room. This is just it just reads so weird.
It's weird. Like they're trying to dramatize it.
Yeah. The discovery is made as part of an ongoing operation investigating retail theft in the region, according to police. Both Gomez and Dominguez were arrested and booked into San Diego's Vista Detention Facility. I'm guessing not beautiful this time of year. On multiple felony charges, including grand theft, possession of stolen property, and theft of merchandising valued at more than $950.
That's not thousands.
Yeah, I know. And then I'll get to that here in a second. But to the rest of the article. But they show pictures here, and it's a lot of older elites. Now, it's not like elite 1 through 20. It's like elite 56, somewhere kind of in the middle of the road. I mean, a nice collection. It's good to have these. I'm
just like shocked how long this was going on, because usually don't they have to like bust you at the door or something? They not get it home, and
it's a weird thing because these figures, you say $1,000. I mean, you think, let's say these were $20 a piece. I mean, there's definitely more than $1,000 here. I mean, this
that's
is like
all they could prove.
$10,000 or something like that. I don't know what this ends up being. And then the open ones and stuff. It just seems like quite the thing. Now, apparently, this guy that was busted, Dominguez, apparently was a YouTuber and an action figure influencer. And apparently a lot of people were friends with this guy, knew this guy. Now, Angie, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I guess fortunately in this instance here, I just don't have time to watch other YouTube channels and videos. And when I do watch YouTube channel videos, it's usually about terrible movies or horror movie recaps or like exploitation film recaps. Like, it's mind-numbing stuff, because after a long, stressful day, I want as mind-numbing as possible. And I apologize to anybody out there, but I just don't watch YouTube channel videos because I don't want to be influenced by anybody else. And then I just, I already have the figure. I don't care.
People are already saying you copy them. You don't need to actually be subconsciously.
It's wild. And, and I get messages about that all the time. There's a lot of people copying your styles, and there's people saying, see you later, and things like that. And it's funny too when bigger YouTubers do some of your stuff, or they take your segments, or they take your ideas, and then, it becomes theirs. And that's just the way it goes. There's a lot of musicians over the years that, invented something, and Led Zeppelin took it to the next level because they stole it all from them. Happens all the time. But I just don't have time to dig into these stuff. But apparently this guy was named Gizmo. I hope it's not after our dog Gizmo that we used to have. Our old Chihuahua Gizmo, salt of the earth once upon a time. He liked to bite, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he was quite salt of the earth. I don't know, but
he was salty.
Yeah, he was salty. But this guy apparently was a YouTuber, influencer, and had videos and toy room tours, all this kind of stuff. And I still should have probably done more research. I should have looked into these. But apparently this guy was a big thing. That's why a lot of people ask, like, what do you think about your brother in arms out there? And I was like, I didn't know I had a brother. Yeah. And especially a San Diego brother. And I don't think I ever met this guy. I don't know if I would have been at San Diego Comic-Con. Would have been the only chance to meet this guy, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But
imagine a picture of you two, like,
yeah, we're fist pumping or something like that. Who knows?
You're like on a toy on Target together.
Maybe.
It's AI.
It's AI. I don't know. I don't recall. But somebody was saying, and one of the people that sent me this article said that this guy was known to do fig swaps. Like, he would put them back in the package and then return them to the store. And that was a big part of this too.
Oh, like an old used.
He would get an old figure, a basic figure, put it in an ultimate package. We've all seen fig swaps, the bane of existences. And I hate to report in my area, I'm seeing a little bit more. It's still nothing like when I traveled to like Minnesota, Minneapolis. What are we doing up there? Animals up there with these fig swaps. Even Kansas City area every once in a while.
Sadly, I wouldn't even know what's happening.
Yeah, you can usually tell if you look a little closer, but I always feel bad. And once again, I'm getting on tangents here, but I get a lot of messages from people saying, hey, I found this extremely rare whatever figure. It's different than there. This must be a really hard chase. Like, dude, it's a fig swap. And most people believe it. And a lot of people will fight me, say, nope, it's a rare one. You don't know everything about figures. You didn't know that this Cody Rhodes Elite 120, there was besides suited one, I'm like, whatever, man, whatever you want to believe. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just telling you, it's a fig swap. Trust me. But there's some people that don't want to believe that stuff. But apparently this guy was doing a lot of that fig swap stuff. You buy an old basic, you put it in an ultimate. A way to get free figures, basically, is what he was doing there. So a lot of shenanigans. It sounds, once again, all allegedly. I wasn't around there. I'm just repeating what I've told and what I've read in this article here. But it's weird that they said there was an ongoing investigation. So, man, San Diego must not have any murders or anything going on. I can tell you they got a lot of homeless people running around San Diego. I saw a guy pooping on the street there at San Diego. Crazy. This is wild. This is wild times.
No toilet paper, nothing.
Nothing. Just going for it and just walking on. So you got to be careful where you step over there.
Ew.
But wild times in San Diego. But I don't know. I've heard that in the past. Now, I'm not sure if it's official. I've never tried it. But somebody said, like, at Walmart, and this was like in my day-to-day job world, that you could steal X amount from Walmart and they're not going to bust you for it. If you switch $25, it's under 25 or something, they're just going to take it away from you, but let you leave. It's not worth the hassle or something. So I don't know if it was part of this thing where they're just like tracking it, clocking it. Obviously, there's cameras all over these Walmarts, Targets, and stores these days. When you're checking out, they got you checking out. Whatever you're doing, they know what you're up to. I don't know if that was part of this. I'm not sure how they exactly figured out
it
what
had
was
to have
going
been
on.
big enough that they wouldn't have busted him on scene. It was like they were trying to build a case against him.
And it seems weird though that you wouldn't just bust him; you'd let him keep stealing.
Well, that's because
repeatedly.
because they already were like tracking them.
But it's weird to me that like Target would be okay with that. Like, well, let's he can just steal money from us. So we didn't need those sales anyways. He can just keep doing this and doing this. Somewhere in there's gonna be the rest of the story, and I guess that's what court will be for in the future. But
maybe he got turned in by people or something.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened. I wonder if he went down with a fight, if he went down swinging or whatever. I don't know what happened there, but it feels like I don't know. It's really weird because it seems like not that big of a deal, but theft is theft. If it's $5 and if it's somebody stole a bicycle, a wrestling figure, whatever it is, it means something to somebody. Somebody cares about it. So you can't really just say, "Oh, wrestling figures, what are they doing?" But then it becomes, where do you draw the line? But a very strange story to make news and really going around the interweb, especially in the action figure community. But once again, I don't know this character. I don't know this guy, and I don't know. Hope the best for him either way. Hopefully he makes it out alive. Who knows what happens? But the article continues with a little bit of generic stuff here. And this is the problem. This is the problem with stuff you read. And I feel like I'm pushing my political agendas once again.
You are. You're so political.
I'm so political, but it is true. And I've known this for a long time. Going back to when Chris Benoit died on my birthday. You remember that fateful birthday for me? Worst birthday ever. Benoit was my favorite modern wrestler, and that whole fiasco. I don't need to recap the Benoit tragedy, I don't think, here today.
It's getting dark on this.
But I'll never forget on the news that night where there was so many crazy things. Of course, me being a wrestling fan, knowing wrestling stuff, so many of the Dan Rathers and stuff doing these reports that were like, even I would know were totally wrong because they didn't do all the research and saying, "Oh, WCW star." Well, he was in WCW once upon a time, but so many crazy stuff. So then I was like, man, I can't believe everything I'm hearing and reading because I'm up to speed on this wrestling stuff. So I know what they're talking about. But a lot of stuff, once again, I don't follow politics really. I'm hearing this stuff. How do I know it's true or not? You don't know if it's true or not. And that goes for anything. If you really want to be on something and you really want to know about it, you better do a little bit more research than just taking one person's stuff. And it goes back to that person saying, I'm pushing all these agendas and stuff. But once again, this article loses a little bit of a luster right here for me because it does say rare wrestling figures can have a considerable aftermarket value, which is true. For example, the WWE Undertaker glow-in-the-dark classic superstars model can fetch almost $800 in original packaging. Now, I'm just a classics guy at the end of the day. Some say I even wrote a book on it. Check out my book, The Complete Guide to the Jakks Class Superstars series, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Cheap plug. But that is a very sought-after figure. I'm not sure if it fetches $800 right now. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But it's a weird one that they bring that one up of all figures. It's like, where are they going here? Why that specific figure? But then it says, that's nothing compared to what particular Andre the Giant figures can command. For the soft vinyl Andre the Giant figure with original cards, collectors can expect to part with around $5,000, according to the Sportster. What is the Sportster? I don't know. But Angie, the daddy of them all. Yes, they use the word daddy.
Oh, I thought you were saying that.
They used it.
That's in the article.
But the daddy of them all is the ultra-rare prototype figurine made of Hulk Hogan, who passed away earlier this year. For these prototypes, sums of $50,000 to $120,000 are considered acceptable. So what prototype?
That's a range.
What are they talking about? Like I said, yeah, you said that's a range, $50,000 to $120,000. And what ultra rare prototype are they talking about? And that's like a one-off figure. So going back to the original article, these are mainstream Mattel figures that this guy was stealing. It's not really comparable to a prototype that there's probably one of that obviously is extremely hard to find and stuff. So
he probably didn't have any of that in his collection.
No, yeah, he didn't have any of that. By the pictures, he didn't have any of that. He's basically a Mattel collector. Looks like he came in the Mattel days. So you come in where you come in. I like to come in all over the place, as we know. But very strange article, very strange circumstances. It's crazy this is news, but here we are. Gizmo, I guess, was the guy. I guess he's got a YouTube channel. I should look it up for prosperity's sake. But the one guy that wrote me said he was a despicable human being, much like myself, probably. Maybe not. But they said they didn't like him, and he was, combative and stuff, and fist fights in the toy aisle. I mean, I've heard about those things. I was a witness to a fist fight in the frozen pizza aisle once upon a time. All Tales from Retail, one of these days. That's episode number 1254, I think, is where I got that one penciled in for.
Get there.
So that's going to be a heck of a story. So stay tuned for that in the future. But very strange. Thousands of dollars, fig swaps. I don't know. Any thoughts from you on this here?
No.
How embarrassed would you be if I got arrested for something like this?
Pretty bad.
It would be pretty embarrassing. I don't know how you'd tell people, like, oh, what did Kyle do? Did he embezzle from his company millions of dollars? Well, no. Target? You've heard of Target. He was taking action figures back and swapping them around. Can you imagine? But it's funny, though. I hate it because one thing I hate to do, Angie, I don't know if you know this, is return things. I hate to return things. Did you know this? I hate returning things. Like if I buy something, I got to return it. I hate doing that. That's where Angie shines.
You don't.
Angie loves doing that. So it's perfect how we work out that she loves to return. I love to buy things. She loves to return things. It works. He
tries to get me to return like 10 things at once. I'm like, I'm not doing that.
So yeah, it happens every once in a while, especially with Walmart and Target. You order something, the pre-order comes in, you didn't cancel your order, you found it at the store, whatever it may be. You got to take some stuff back. That always sucks, but Angie loves to do it, so you always step in. But I always wonder, it's like, are they going to say, wait a minute, Kyle's taking this stuff, buying it? I mean, who's to think they wouldn't say maybe these are figure swaps? Now this is me getting like paranoid that somebody's looking at our Target like, oh my gosh, he bought this.
They might start checking them more meticulously after this.
They should. I mean, they should. And that's a big gripe. And that's a story for a deeper dive one of these days.
But how would the employees know that it is what it is?
That's the thing. Guess what? 70-year-old Shirley that's working the register there. Do you think she knows that Carlito is in a Kurt Angle packaging? Do you think she has any clue of that? I mean, we all got to take that step back. And that might be a good deeper dive for next week about figure swapping and some of the things that go on with it. There's a lot of people that champion things that slow your roll, buddy, because there's a lot more to it. You gotta always take that step back. But I can't imagine, but it does make me concerned. Like, I'm not doing anything shady. I just accidentally bought 2 of these. Or, every once in a while, I've had this issue a lot lately where I'll buy something and I'll accidentally put 2 in my cart. And I thought it was 1. I check out, I move on, and then 2 show up and I go to my receipt. I'm like, gosh, I put 2 in there. Are you kidding me? So things like that, all of a sudden you have all these returns, they start tracking it. But I do know Walmart, I think there's a rule like you can only return so many dollars without a receipt. I always have my receipts. Yeah. I always have that kind of stuff. So we've never had trouble, but stuff like this could ruin it for everybody else. Not that
sometimes you buy 4 hoping you get a chase and you get 0.
Yeah, like just the other day, 4 Cody Rhodes from Amazon trying to get that chase, didn't get any of them, so we had to take all those back. So wild story in the deeper dive land, Angie. I don't know if it's a deeper dive I want to get into very often, but it was strange article, but I did want to talk about it a little bit. Once again, it's all allegedly, but man, do better, people. What are we doing? But there it is. That's a deeper dive. Angie, now it's time for Angie to shine. It's time to try new foods because they might taste good.
A little bit of this and a little bit of that. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. We gotta try new food because they might taste good.
All right, Angie, it's time to try new foods because they might taste good. What do you got for us this week?
A sweet treat.
A sweet treat. All right, go for it.
Rice Krispies treats, but it's an ice cream sandwich. Intriguing. I'm curious if it's going to be like hard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like a Rice Krispie. Break your teeth.
Now, how do you feel about a normal Rice Krispie treat?
Well, like everything, they're chemically like.
Oh yeah,
they used to be good.
I guess I was thinking about homemade, but I guess those two.
I love homemade Rice Krispies.
I'm not the biggest fan of a Rice Krusty.
I make the best ones though.
Rice Krispie.
Did I stutter it?
You said Rice Krusty. Rice Krusty. I'm not a big fan of Rice Krispie treats, especially the chemically ones out of the package. Not for me. Homemade ones are fine, but I always preferred my grandma's like Scotcheroo style.
I haven't made a Scotcheroo in a million years.
Ooh, it looks like an ice cream sandwich. That's thick. It's a thick one.
We brought a plate.
You brought a plate. You're going to cut it in half. There's no way I can eat that whole thing, but it does look. It looks like a Rice Krispie treat. It's hard.
It's pretty hard.
I don't even think you got to cut it in half. Just cut off a sliver off.
Okay, but it's cuttable, so that's good.
It is cuttable, so we're okay with that. Maybe.
Oh my gosh.
Jesus, push.
Take the wheel. Jesus, take the wheel.
Hard as a rock. Oh, wait a minute.
We're going to have another...
You cut that in half, maybe.
We're going to have another tooth chipping.
No. Anybody remember the episode where I chipped my tooth on a Zag nut? Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
So it's good for putting nuts in your mouth.
Yeah, you know. There it is. All right, Rice Krispie treat.
Oh, God, my piece is big.
It has that chemically Rice Krispie taste to it. Mm-hmm. I do like the hardness of the Rice Krispie treat. Mm-hmm.
It balances it out.
I don't like them like the normal ones out of the package where they're super hard or gross, but this one is nice because it's like not quite an ice cream sandwich hardness, but it does hold up very well.
But it chews very easily. It's not
very
like
easily. It almost looks like somebody made Rice Krispie treats and pressed them together and made them like, skinnier
Well, they
and
sell
longer.
like sheets of that you can like decorate. That's what it is. It's only like a 1/4 inch thick.
And the ice cream is pretty thick. That's about an inch, I would say. And nice vanilla ice cream. Is that enough for you? An inch?
You would call that an inch.
Is an inch enough?
It's not. It's probably half an inch.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Whatever. Well, I always get confused with my measurements here.
He thinks that's an inch.
It looks about like an inch, I thought.
The whole thing's probably
that's
an
what
inch.
I'm saying.
Yeah, the whole thing is exactly an inch. Actually.
Okay. I know my inches. It's a game of inches, as we know.
6 inches.
6 inches. A foot long. Angie, so what are your thoughts on this exactly?
It was better than I thought.
Yeah? I don't know.
It was weird, but it's not like... If I want a sweet treat, I need chocolate. That's like what it comes down to.
And I feel like if you love Rice Krispie treats, you probably jump in on this. It's probably something you would like. So if you're a Rice Krispie treat fan, especially if you like the store-bought kind, you're going to absolutely love this. It tastes like a squished down version of that one. Good ice cream. The vanilla ice cream was actually better than I expected. A lot of times, the Rice Krispies all the show, and they just got generic ice cream in the middle. Pretty good ice cream. A nice flavorful vanilla. I almost like... No, not almost. I like the ice cream more than I like the top part, where like a traditional ice cream sandwich, I like the cookie more than the ice cream. So it's like the reverse flavor right here. Worth trying. I would never buy this normally. I would never buy this again.
Yeah, no.
But what would you rate this out of 5, Angie?
2.5.
2.5?
I like to just go right, because I'm mid.
Yeah, you're
Because I'm mid. I go
mid,
right.
Angie. Yeah, you are mid. That's true. I'm going to go a 2.2 out of 5. 2.2. Edible, worth trying once, but not really for me. But once again, I'm not a huge Rice Krispie guy fan. I'd like the Scotcheroo with the chocolate on it. That's more my style. But if you like Rice Krispie treats, you'd probably like this. Another option instead of just your traditional ones or having to make them yourself. Now you got an ice cream treat. Living the dream with the Rice Krispie treats right there.
Not good, not bad, but we definitely won't sneak it back in the package and try to return it to the store.
There's only 3?
Yes.
That is weird.
And it was like between $6 and $7.
That's what I was going to ask too. So
6, 7.
6, 7. Oh, watch out. So that I can't recall another packaged good that only includes 3. Usually it would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 12. 3 in a package. So once again, that's a little of that inflation and things. Yeah. It's like, okay, we don't want to be out of this price point. And you said $6?
Yeah, I think it was like $6.96. It might have been $5.96.
I tell you, for price point and everything else, so it's a 1 out of 5 on that.
So more than $2 a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a stretch. So 3 in the package. I really wish they would have had 4. That feels like a big miss, if you ask me.
A 4 would have got a mid rating.
Oh, hard times in the Rice Krispie treat department. But Angie, no hard times this week, as it's time for the album of the week. Time for album of the week here. We got to cut some segments out. We got too long-winded. You just talk all the time. We got too long-winded, but we're going to do album of the week.
Yapping.
This week, we're going to Rush. Now, why Rush? Well, we were at the United Center. My first time ever at the United Center for P1 Harmony of all things. But I was looking around. I was scanning the scene in the city tonight like a young Lars Ulrich from Metallica. I was scanning. I was looking around and looking, where do I want to sit for Rush at the United Center?
Those were good seats.
They were good seats, but they're playing 4 nights in July next year, so it sounds like I probably won't go to San Diego Comic-Con. I'll go to Rush instead. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what goes on. I'm going to wait till it's closer to the show and see what I can find ticket-wise, because I believe scalpers are going to eat up a ton of those tickets. Like we saw at P1 Harmony, there was a lot of empty seats, and if you went to Ticketmaster, you could obviously find seats, but there was like pure sections that were all empty because scalpers got it, and they couldn't sell them at the last minute. So not sure if that'll happen for Rush or not, but there's always going to be tickets available. There's 4 shows, as I said. So there's 4 chances to see them. And I think they're playing like a Thursday night, a Saturday night, a Monday night, and a Wednesday night. Now, Saturday is definitely out of question. You know that's going to be the hot one. It's the weekend, everything else. Thursday, I think it'll be a hot one too, because it'll be their first show in Chicago. People take Friday off, take a long weekend. Thursday, Saturday, going to be busy. Monday, Wednesday of the next week, have to imagine those shows will be a little bit easier to get a ticket to. I'll probably take that whole week off. I always try to get a week in July vacation. I'm going to try to get a vacation. Probably going to take that week. We'll see
Fail.
what happens.
Fail.
I just got quite the fun news on my phone as well just a second ago about all kinds of stuff. So it's just vacation. Not for fun anymore or ever. I don't know. But where was I? but probably Monday, Wednesday. That's what I'm going to look to as far as one of those tickets. But we're going to talk a little Rush here, and I'm going to go the first time I ever got into Rush, and I always forget the name of the title, but it is Rush Retrospective. It was CD back then, CD1 and CD2, like Greatest Hits, A, B, whatever you want to call it. That's where I got into Rush with their Greatest Hits stuff. Now, Rush wasn't one of those bands you see on the radio all the time. They were on MTV a little bit when I was a kid, but I don't really remember them, and they weren't like on Headbangers Ball, which I watched a lot. So to get into Rush, I think that was a good start to get in there. It has all their hits from all their albums. Now, personally for Rush, I'm a 70s Rush guy. I actually like the end of the days Rush stuff as well. 80s, some hit and miss stuff for me in the 80s. It got a little too synth, a little bit too keyboardish for me. It really lost a little bit of its luster, I do think. But there was a few good ones there. Subdivisions in the 80s is one I like, even though it's a very 80s song. But a lot of good albums. And on the way back from our K-pop stuff, we listened to some Rush. I don't know if you were listening or not. Yeah, you were listening. You were in the front seat. So it was quite the time. But Rush is one of my favorite bands, and I've said it before on this channel, my YouTube channel, whatever. Them and the Scorpions are the two bands I've always wanted to see that I never have seen. And I've had a lot of opportunities to see Rush over the years. When I say a lot, maybe 3 really. And each time I had something else going on. There was the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame where I got to hang out with Terry Funk. Now, I'm happy I got to meet Terry Funk, hang out with Terry Funk, but at the same time, missed out on Rush. And now I'll never be able to say that I saw Rush with John Rutsey. The original drummer who died before I knew who Rush was, but also Neil Peart as well. I missed out on that. Or Peart. No, it's Peart. Peart. It's not like the shampoo. It's the opposite. So missed out on seeing Neil. They're going to have a female drummer. I think that was a smart move. It doesn't feel like, with being a female, a different gender, it doesn't feel like, oh, they got Mike Portnoy or whatever white guy in to fill the booth. The seat,
it's
the
like
throne.
They didn't replace him.
It's like they didn't replace him, kind of, because women, as we know, can't play drums, right, Angie? No, but it just feels like, hey, it's not the same thing. I don't know. Mentally, it doesn't feel like as much as like Mike Portnoy is replacing Neil Peart. That feels like more in our face, where it's, hey, I wouldn't say she's a relatively unknown drummer, very famous in drum circles. Everybody loves a drum circle, but it feels like it fits a little bit better. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it does.
It's less controversial.
Less controversial, maybe, but somebody out there saying women can't play drums, like I just said. Somebody's really believing that.
That's really controversial.
Somebody's believing that. But who's your favorite female drummer? There you go. No, but I would definitely like to see. I would definitely like to see the concert. Obviously, it's not going to be Rush, but and they're adding a keyboard player, so there's going to be more members on stage. It'll be an interesting one to see where that all ends up going to. But I'm here for it. I'm hoping I can catch one of those shows. Time will tell. Maybe call Jeff George, see if he wants to go to that one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Angie, do you have any interest in seeing Rush?
Yeah, I feel like I manifested there, because I remember I pulled that Rush shirt and I was wearing it like. I haven't worn it in years and years and years, and then they like announced their tour. Like,
you manifested.
Yeah,
you brought it in
I
there.
did.
And Angie might be in a plot twist. Of course, I went to P1 Harmony. I was the only guy in the building. If I go to Rush, Angie would be the only girl in the building. So you better wear some protection, Angie. More ways than one.
I'm wearing my lace see-through.
Oh, watch out. That could be extra dangerous at that show. But more to come as we get closer to that. What show will I see? Will I see the show? Will I go to San Diego Comic-Con? Will I be alive? There's so many things up in the air right now.
Will you be alive? Is the real
so many things up in the air.
I dropped my ring.
Angie throwing her ring on the floor in protest. She's had enough. There it is. There it is, Angie. That is the album of the week. And now we're going to do a fairly, hopefully quick Tales from Retail. All right, Angie, it's time for Tales from Retail. And this could be another one of those stories that maybe you've never heard. Maybe. We'll see.
The real tale is going to be if I've canceled or not.
No, we can't take her anywhere. Can't take her anywhere. Oh, watch out. Watch out. But Angie, we're going to do a little Tales from Retail. This one goes back to, I was a manager for the Nabisco Corporation once upon a time, and I was taking a little tour, a little scenic trip to Southwest Iowa.
Beautiful this time of year.
Beautiful, let me tell you. Majestic. Iowa, a very majestic state, but man, you go to Southwest Iowa, or even better yet, Southeast Iowa. Oh, my goodness. Well, not really.
Is it north? Northeast, that's pretty.
Northeast is pretty when you get up to Wisconsin.
Pretty pretty. It's
but
pretty pretty.
Pretty. Just
Pretty
like
boy,
you.
pretty,
Just
pretty
like you.
boy.
But Southern Iowa, pretty rough. It's pretty rough. There's not a lot going on, not a lot of population, not a lot to do down there.
A lot of fig swapping down there.
Not even that. Nobody's even buying figs down there. It's a weird place. There's a lot big Amish communities down in there, and that's another story one day I'll tell. But there's not a lot going down in southern Iowa. And when people think of stereotypical Iowa, let's say you live in New York City, you live in Houston, Texas, shout out to you. You think of Iowa, you think of cornfields and stuff, and that's like the southern part of the state. You go to the center part of the state, Des Moines and the bigger cities, it's more like everywhere else. You got everything you got everywhere else for the most part. It's just like, it's normal. So when people say, oh, you live in those cornfields, well, not really. I don't know how far the nearest cornfield is. They're around, but it's not quite what a lot of people think it is here. But Southwest Iowa, the land time forgot. It's like the land before time. There's dinosaurs walking the earth and stuff. But once upon a time, I was in a Walmart, and I believe it was Red Oak, Iowa. Shout out to Red Oak. I don't know if anybody's from Red Oak, but I went into the Walmart. Of course, I looked for the action figures. I don't remember finding anything good that day, but I was there more for the grocery side of stuff, and I'm walking around. Now, back then, COVID changed a lot of things. Here I go getting political again, but one thing there's no denying, COVID changed a lot of dress codes for a lot of companies. A lot of companies were suit and tie. A lot of companies were just tie, and I was in a dress shirt, tie, dress pants, and stuff as I was working. So even then, for Southwest Iowa, that's like wearing a tuxedo. And people are there in their bib overalls and things like that, the farmers. So I was dressed up, but I was
Poop on their boots.
Yeah, I was in a jacket and tie, nothing too special. But I'm walking the store looking around, and I'm immediately, once I get in the grocery department, I was immediately grabbed by like 5 different ladies that worked for the store and one guy, and that guy didn't speak English. I don't remember where he was from, but he didn't speak English. I don't know why he was involved in this, but like 5 girls came running up to me. And now, Angie, that usually happens a lot wherever I go. There's usually a lot of ladies, they want to touch the hair. They flock to me like a young moss man. But these ladies all ran up to me. I'm like, oh, here we go. Sometimes Walmart would be like, who are you with? Why are you in this store? You know, what's going on? You know, what company you work for or whatever. Well, once again, it's a little bit behind times back in there. So Southwest Iowa, they all run up to me and they pull me to the side. Hey, we need to talk to you. I'm like, oh, great. I'm thinking one of our employees did something. They're having issues with our products. There was something more to the story is what I was assuming. And you know what happens?
I know where this is going.
I don't think you do. I don't. Maybe you do. I don't think I'm sure I told you this story like 20 years ago when it happened or 15 years ago, but they all grabbed me to the side.
Should I write down what I think it is?
Okay. And then I'll keep going.
Talking.
Yep. So then I get over there. They pull me over to the side here, and they all, oh, we need to talk to you. We need to talk to you. And they immediately thought I was a higher up for the Walmart organization. They thought I worked for Walmart. Yep. Okay. Angie was right. She was right. So you remember this story. So they thought I was like a head of the Walmart Corporation or a big wig for Walmart, which unfortunately I had to burst their bubble and tell them. At first they were like a mile a minute, all 5 of these girls. You can only imagine 5 middle-aged women yapping at you real quick, and then a guy in the back that doesn't speak English just nodding at you a little bit. It was a wild scene, let me tell you. You had to be there.
I didn't do it.
Should have got my flip phone out and tried to record it. Some grainy video. But they're sitting there telling me about this, and they're saying that, hey, our store director and our assistant store director are up to no good. They're doing illegal things in the store, and we need to turn this in. We need to talk to somebody. And guys, and finally, they're just going on and talking a mile a minute. Wouldn't let me even get an edge of a word in there. And I finally had to say, I don't work for Walmart. I'm sorry about your situation. I'm just traveling through on town. I work for Kraft Nabisco. I'm checking on some stuff. Just thought I'd look at the shelves, and then I'm going to be on my way back home is what I'm going to do. So they were pretty deflated by that. But they went on to say that basically the store director, the assistant store director were allegedly, I better say allegedly once again, they were involved in a kind of a drug ring around town. Meth is big in the country down in there. They were into all that. And then a lot of stuff was falling off the truck, being stole out of the back rooms. They saw him taking all these TVs and they're selling these things, part of their drug thing. It was a whole racket between the store director and the assistant store director.
Wow.
As you can imagine, 2 leaders of the store, what are you going to do? All these other people need to work and they have to bow down to them. So they were all like happy to tell somebody. And I don't know if they thought I was the Walmart guy coming in. Maybe for whatever reason, I said, I don't know what to tell you. I wouldn't go to your HR and store. They could be in on this. The little story I know here, you guys told me, you need to call your corporate HR down in Bentonville. You need to get them involved or the police involved if you want to. I don't know how that story ever ended out there, but it was just wild there. And It's weird now even more because when you wear a tie, which after COVID, not a lot of people wear ties anymore, people really think you're something else. Back then they always did it every once in a while in certain areas, but now you wear a tie in like a normal area, a normal store, a normal, like a big city store. They're like, oh man, this guy, he means something. And that's one of those things too. That's why it's so important to make a first impression. You got one chance at a first impression. That's why if you ever leave the house, you never know who you're going to run into. You never know when you're going to meet your future girlfriend, wife, or whatever. You always should be dressing to impress, because you never know who you're going to see. So whatever dress to impress means to you, it could be a Rush shirt for Angie. Who knows what it could be? But you're going out on the town. That's going to be their first impression. And people always remember the first time they saw you. So in business, especially, you put that tie on. Okay, this guy knows what he's doing. You feel a little bit more credible right away. Yeah. So pro tip out there, you might be a fool. You might not know what you're talking about. And I've been guilty of that a time or two in my life. But people take you a lot more seriously, and you just look like you know more than you actually know. And that's what I saw right here in this short story from Tales from Retail this week. So Angie kind of remembers that story. Did you remember that whole thing?
Yeah, kind of. I couldn't, and I didn't know where it was going.
Yeah.
I just remember that they
It was weird. It was weird. I never went back. Never went back to find out how the rest of the story went, and I didn't want to go back. And,
you think you would have heard it on the news if something happened? There was a big bust.
Yeah, that's more Omaha news, so I wouldn't have saw that stuff. True. So I don't know.
Got to dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
There you go. So now, Angie, that's another segment done. A long episode this week. It's time for a few final thoughts. All right, Angie, it's time for a few final thoughts as we conclude episode number 30 of the Kyle Peterson Show, as we head to episode 31 next week with our special Halloween episode. So make sure you check that one out. Who knows what might happen next week? It could be oh, well, really? We'll see. We'll see what Angie's up to, but I think I'm going to steal all the love with my outfit. Yeah. That's my guess. But we'll see. Stay tuned for that episode next week. Make sure you thumbs up this video. Always helps to thumbs up all the videos too. I should mention that. And make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow the podcast. Retweet it, reshow it, share it to everybody else. All that rigmarole there. But Angie, we do got a viewer question this week on email. And if you want to be the question of the week here, send it to the KylePetersonShow@gmail.com. And Angie will read your email, and you too could be question of the week. But Angie, we got it this week right here. You going to read it?
Sure.
All right, take it away.
It's a wordy one. It's a super important question.
They all are.
Gary Rickelman, you being in the biz, and by the biz I mean the industry, do you have the inside info on what store brands are made by the name brands? And do the name brands that make certain store brands tweak the formula so it's similar, but just that tiny bit off? The whole deal is fascinating to me. Bye. He put a couple E's.
The industry, and I was like, what industry am I exactly in? But he's talking grocery stuff with the store brand. So that is a very weird, not weird question, but it's a weird question in this day and age a little bit, because historically, a lot of times the private label brands, the off brands, whatever you want to call them, traditionally have been made by a lot of name brand suppliers. Now, I will tell you, there's companies, especially ones I've worked for, like Nabisco. They don't give that Oreo formula out. There's Target brand Oreos, there's Walmart brand Oreos, whatever grocery store brand Oreos. They are not the traditional Oreo, and they do not make any Oreos for anybody else. So a Nabisco Corporation, they don't make private label for others. Now, there's bread companies, like one I may know about, that will make stuff for a lot of retailers, Walmarts, Targets, your local chains and stuff. Historically, the rule of thumb has always been never give a premium formula, a branded formula, to private label. Now, there's been a few instances here and there on low run stuff, but historically, there's a private label formula, there's a branded formula. And if you're given the same formula, people will catch on to that. The word will get out, and then you won't sell any of your branded. But I will say private label stuff has come a long way in the last decade plus. There's a lot better quality on a lot of that stuff than there has been across the board. Many of the companies do not make private label or do not make the branded stuff in the private label with the same thing. That's almost non-existent to this point. There's a few here and there, but pretty much totally separate. But like I said, the formulas on the private label have gotten a lot better. Now, there's a lot of companies that, let's say Sonic, maybe use the same hamburger bun as a different bun or whatever. It's the same thing. So maybe that kind of counts. But I'm trying to think.
I think it's interesting how you'll go back and forth on the description of the product. So if it's a specific type of bread, you won't want them to call it that specific name because it's too competitive.
There's a lot of
they have to like
trademarks.
rename. Yeah. So
Yeah, and like you got to be
or describe it a different way.
like, what is it? Like there's a store brand of Mountain Dew around here. It's like the private label Mountain Dew. It's called Hillbilly Holler. So it's like play on that. So that I always get I get tickled by that one. Tickled, but I'm trying to think of anything I can think of. So the biggest one that usually is the same thing is a lot of times like canned green beans, canned corn. You know, Del Monte is also making them for the store. It's the same thing, different can. A lot of that stuff is there. But in the last decade plus, you have seen the rise of private label manufacturers that just make private label. They make private label for XYZ grocery stores, Walmart, Target, and that's all they do. That is their business model. They're going to try to get it as close to the name brands without knowing. But there is a lot of that, and they have undercut a lot of the traditional companies that would make private label. Now, you know, Nabisco not making private label for people, but other companies that don't use the same formula. So way back before my time, a lot of the stuff probably was the same. But I know Nabisco never did, and a lot of other companies never did as well. I'm getting long-winded in this one here. But these other companies, I can tell you, like donuts, like bagged donuts that are, you know, frosted donuts or whatever. I think there's 3 factories in the United States that make basically everybody's donuts. And it's a private label company that branded companies use that factory and then they put it in their packaging. So it's kind of a reverse way of doing that. And that's more likely scenario in this day and age that these private label companies make things like that for the branded companies to take away from line time and stuff. So I can tell you in the United States, there's 3 factories that make bagged donuts, your chocolate, your powdered, that kind of stuff. They're basically all the exact same thing, different packaging. So really at the end of the day, buy the cheapest one. So that's just one example of a reverse engineering there. So wild times, but yeah, I mean, back in the day, you know, your kids, well, here's a perfect example too. I'm getting long-winded again. Milk is a perfect example. Now, I'm not sure if all the areas are this way, but I can tell you that milk historically, when I was a dairy manager working at a grocery store, we had the milk that came in from the, you know, branded milk was the exact same as the private label milk. Same everything. They had the contract for that and it all came together. Same truck, just different label, $1 cheaper a gallon. Same thing. And people would say, oh no, it's different. It tastes different. Trust me, it's the exact same thing. So milk might be one of those ones in this day and age.
Well, not chocolate. So we always buy whatever white milk,
That's
but then
true.
chocolate we only buy the certain brand.
Yeah, that's true. So I have to imagine most companies are doing them separate now. I think enough's changed in the world, but back in the day, a lot of the bread was probably the same. The milk was definitely the same, and some of that was the exact same, but not so much anymore. Most of the time, it's a lesser formula. There might be more chemicals and hardener in the private label to cheat their way in. So really, the thing your grandma used to tell you, oh, it's the same thing. Well, it might have been a little closer then. It's not quite the same in this day and age. But
more preservatives to get longer date code too,
Yep.
so they can save more money,
a lot of
less
that stuff.
turnaround.
A lot of that. So there it is. That's an interesting question this week. Once again, you want me the question? Put it to the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. So Angie, what did we learn today?
Oh, God.
What did we learn today?
We didn't go to Paul McCartney.
Oh,
We
yeah.
went to P1 Harmony.
You know, I never even mentioned that, this whole thing. I got all talk about P1 Harmony, but Paul McCartney was in town. Or maybe I did mention it.
did.
Oh, I did mention it. Yeah, so
Oh,
I
you
missed
brought it up.
I missed Paul. So very disappointing for me there. But
No,
yeah,
Paul.
very sad, but family first. Family first.
But we've never seen P1 and you've seen Paul 3 times.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say about that.
Well, you never know. We might not see him again.
You might never see Paul again. I don't think. 83 years old. I don't think we're seeing him again either. So we'll see. But we learned about that. We learned a little bit about private label, long-winded there. We learned about retail theft in more ways than one. Gizmo doing us all wrong.
Shenanigans.
Putting a black eye on the action figure community this week.
I didn't know about the fig swapping. I've never
I don't
heard you
think
talk
you've come
about
across
that.
it. Yeah, usually I'm by
That's the
myself
wild
when
one.
I'm filming videos. So yeah, it's
That's
wild.
crazy.
I'll try to point one out for you next time. I'll try to point one out for you. So there it is. Anything else, Angie?
What else did we learn?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
We learned about Rice Krispie treats that you probably shouldn't buy them frozen.
Kind of gave me a tummy ache.
Uh-oh. Watch out.
But we haven't eaten yet. So
Yeah, there you go.
maybe
So that's
just
it.
Don't eat on an empty stomach.
I don't think I know anything else. Do you know anything else? I got to get back to work. Even though I'm on vacation, I got a mountain of stuff piling up on me, so I got to get into that. So there it is.
I gotta eat.
You got to eat. Well, I got something for you, so you're in luck. I made you a special lunch packed with protein, but there it is. Angie, say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everyone.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?